late because of driving.
Thank you, everyone, for having a seat. We're excited you're here today.
Hello.
Yeah, well, yeah, we met, but I'll meet you. Yeah, well, Andy's now gone. I'll have to do it, because this is like, no, he told me specifically to meet you. Yeah. Just put it in an office that says talk to him. We can give anyone access to it. Yeah. I have been told this. Yes. There's a lot of good ideas that now that I can talk to people. Yeah. You know, not all ideas are good. Some are really great and
Mike and I are great.
aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
There you go. Good.
Actually, in many ways, things are really good.
Good morning, everybody. You know, hear me? Welcome to the South Suburban Parks and Recreation District Candidate Forum. My name is Marge Dalton, and I and many of the other volunteers in the room are members of the League of Women Voters of Arapahoe and Douglas counties. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan grassroots civic organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. Thank you, candidates, for participating in today's forum, and thank you all for attending this event. All the candidates whose names will appear in the official ballot were invited to participate, and we have 8 candidates participating in today's forum. 4 candidates have withdrawn since the ballots have been printed, so be aware that any votes cast for these 4 candidates will not be counted. So make your vote count. Due to unforeseen circumstances, candidate Tyler Lineber is not present this morning. We hope that today's forum will achieve 3 objectives: increase voter candidate engagement in our community, enhance your knowledge of candidate positions and the issues important to you in this election, and provide you with the opportunity to have your voice heard and understand the power of your vote. The views expressed today are those of the candidates and not the sponsoring organizations. Now, a few administrative points. As usual, we ask you turn off or mute your cell phones. This event is being videotaped by the South Suburban Parks and Recreation District and will be available on the South Suburban Parks and Recreation District website in 1 week. And hello, Tyler is here. So now we have 9 candidates participating in our forum. Please refrain from applause and other support for individual candidates. Media representatives are allowed to move around the room and take notes. Finally, the restrooms are located outside the door at the back of the room to your right. At this time, I would like to introduce Carol Ayers, our Voter Services Committee Candidate Forum Coordinator, who will introduce the candidates and explain the format of today's forum.
Thank you, Bart.
That helps. That works. Okay. Welcome to everyone. We're thrilled you're here. Thank you to all the candidates for attending this morning. This morning we have 9 candidates running for the 3 board of director positions. Each is a 4-year term. The board of directors adopts policies, and an executive director is responsible for implementing those policies and overseeing all operations. This morning, in alphabetical order, we welcome Keith Gardner, Steve Coverman, Tyler Lineber, Luke Lorenz, Dan Murphy, Rick Pilgrim, Jennifer Stearns, Elizabeth Watson, and Joe Wilson. The candidates are seated alphabetically this morning. How does our forum work this morning? We have a slightly different format. So in the beginning of this forum, that there are 9 candidates, we had to adjust our forum a little bit. So we will begin by using a typical candidate forum format, with the candidates giving a 1-minute opening statement, followed by answering 1 league prepared question. Okay? After the 9 candidates give their opening statement and answer 1 question, we will begin what is called a candidating format. Do you know speed dating? Okay, it's a little like that. Okay, you will notice there are 3 American flags in the room. Okay, each flag identifies a small discussion group. You will be asked to move to one of the American flags and remain seated there during the candidating forum. Candidates in groups of 3 will move from one section of the room to another, while participants remain seated. These discussions will be timed at 15 minutes. Our timers, Cindy and Jill, they're in the center, okay, will announce when 1 minute is remaining. Call out stop, and the candidates will have 1 minute to move to the next table. Our forum will end with concluding remarks by our moderator and an informal meet and greet afterwards. As you entered the room this morning, you were given a note card and a pencil. If you did not get one, we have some in the back. You may use this card to write any questions you may have. This is for any questions you think of as you listen to the candidates' opening statements. During the 3 small group discussions, each of you will have an opportunity to ask at least 1 question. We ask that you wait until all the small group members have had this opportunity before asking a second question. Be sure to give everyone in your group an opportunity to speak. We ask candidates to keep your answers as brief as possible. We're now ready for introductory remarks.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, candidates, each of you will be given 1 minute for an opening statement summarizing your biographical information. Our timers are Jill and Cindy in the center of the room. They will give you a warning sign when you have 30 seconds remaining, and then they will give you a stop sign when your time is up. We will go alphabetically from left to right, beginning with Keith Gardner. Go ahead, Keith.
All right, do you want us, are we allowed to stand or are we supposed to sit?
You can stand if you
Okay,
like.
all right, just want to make sure everyone can see me. Good morning, everybody. I'm Keith Gardner. I'm been on this board since 2023 due to the passing of Dave Lawful, and I've been able to serve and learn a tremendous amount about the district. I've got to meet a number of you in the room as well. But I want to say thank you for taking time out of your Saturday morning, a very beautiful Saturday morning, to come and spend some time getting to know all of us and participate in our election process. So over the 2 years that I've been on the board, and kind of funny, I sit right there too, been able to learn a lot of things about how the district works, along with some of the experience that I've had with being on Centennial City Council, Littleton Fire Protection District, a number of water districts, aqua, sanitation. We've kind of done it all. I was telling Stephanie, the only thing I haven't done is the library district. But I bring a lot of experience, both with building partnerships and working with different communities, learning how to take in input from residents, try to find a balance, and just truly trying to build relationships with people. So thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Next,
That
I'd
movie
like
was
to
fast.
do Steve Kaverman.
Good morning, folks. My name's Steve Kaverman. I'm just going to read my statement here. My family are frequent, almost daily users of the trails, facilities, and programs offered by South Suburban Parks and Recreation District. They are exceptional, a valuable resource, and a benefit to our community. My experience as a city and county elected official and civically engaged citizen, I've become aware that there is generally little understanding about how special districts operate, the tax money that they have authority and duty to use responsibly, and I'd like to bring greater awareness to that. I will work to increase public engagement and offer residents a higher level of awareness about the district. And in the end, I would really like people to have a positive opinion about the district and have confidence in its operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we'll hear from Tyler Lineber.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Lineber, and I grew up outside of the district in the Columbine area, but because the district is so good, I've always come into the district, particularly the South Platte Park. Really enjoyed running and biking along that trail for many years. And my favorite cross-country race in high school was at DeKoven Park, and fortunately enough, I actually moved right next to it. So I really enjoy our parks, and my background is I'm a CPA, and I've spent the last 5 years as an auditor, auditing mostly companies' financial statements, but the past year I audited state and local governments, which I hope I can bring that expertise to the board to help make some of the financial decisions or review the budget and contribute that expertise to the board. And also just really want to engage the community. I have experience running a conservation group or branch here in Colorado, and I work a lot with other neighboring groups to try to organize trash cleanups, tree plantings, and the like, and I hope I can bring that to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Next, we'll hear from Luke Lorenz.
All right, good morning. I'm going to refer to my notes because I had to condense everything I want to say to 1 minute. So I am an everyday user of South Suburban's amenities. South Suburban isn't just where I live, it's where I grew up. It's where I, it's where I built a career, and it's where I now raise my own family. I'm deeply committed to this community, and I believe that strong, accessible, and innovative park and recreation services are essential to our quality of life. Park and recreation is also part of my family legacy. My dad served for South Suburban for 48 years, over 30 of which as executive director. My daughter just started her first part-time job as a swim instructor. She's working this morning at Buck, and she was pretty nervous this morning because it was her first solo class, and I was nervous this morning because I'm coming here, so we had a nice shared experience. I'm running to honor that legacy, but also to contribute my own vision and leadership skills to help this district thrive for generations to come. Thanks.
Thank you, Luke. Next, we'll hear from Dan Murphy.
Hi, I'm Dan Murphy, married and have 6 children, and I'm super excited that yesterday I got my last child off the cell phone bill, so I'm super excited. I've been involved, I've lived in the district for 30 years. My family adopted the families that play together, stay together. We use the golf course, the tennis, the trails, and all of that really I find to be very mentally and physically helpful. So that became my passion. In my own community, I helped raise bond money for new swimming pools, fields, tennis courts. So I've thought in the past of running for city council, but I'm not passionate about all the rest of the stuff. I'm passionate about recreation. I've owned my own business for 25 years, so I think I also have the financial background to help in that category. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today.
Thank you, Dan. Next, Rick Pilgrim.
Am I on go? Let's do this.
Okay, thank you. And good morning. Very pleased to be here this morning. I grew up in the district, like Luke, and I've had the opportunity to see our children and now our grandchildren use the same fields and facilities that I did. And to me, that's a generational responsibility. It's something that I will bring forward and carry your trust. As your director, I'll be available and accountable. Available because I retired from my 47-year career as a civil engineer. I did that last December. And I bring that experience for a wide range of things that the district will do. Accountable because I've served in a variety of elected, appointed, and volunteer positions. So I understand what it takes to be a leader and to participate in a logical discussion about what needs to happen next. I think it's very important for the district as a whole, and I want to keep the district as one of the best in the country.
Thank you, Rick. Next, Jennifer Stearns.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I grew up in Littleton, so I was able to enjoy the parks and rec that South Suburban provides until my late 20s, where I moved to Minnesota with my husband, and that's where we started our family. He's from there. And we moved back to Colorado, either consciously or subconsciously, because we realized how great South Suburban is and how much good work they do in preserving green space, 100 miles of trails, the award-winning recreational facilities that they provide. And we moved back to raise our kids in this community. And so I bring 10 years of aviation experience, and I own my own small business in business consulting, helping businesses restructure. And so I hope that those skills and my passion for Parks and Rec and my love of Littleton and the entire South Suburban District will be an asset on the board.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next, Elizabeth Watson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Elizabeth Watson. I have three main points that I like to talk about: transparency, community engagement, and election services. And I think the main theme behind all of those is really connecting our community and getting information out to the people that support this wonderful district and making sure that everyone has a clear idea of how their taxes are being spent. They have a great way to provide input on what direction they would like the South Suburban Park and Rec to go. And they also are able to influence the decisions this board would make. A little personal background: I'm a resident for 21 years. My oldest daughter was a week old when we moved into our home in Centennial. I've raised 3 kids, 3 active kids, so I do appreciate the wonderful amenities of South Suburban, from their trails and open spaces to their programs and services. So I'm just thrilled to be here and offer myself to be a representative for the public and be part of South Suburban. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And finally, Joe Wilson.
Good morning. Thanks to the League of Women Voters, first off, for hosting this event. We really appreciate that. I've been in Lone Tree for the past 22 years, raised 2 kids there, been part of a lot of South Suburban activities. I'm active in the men's golf community out there. I've coached baseball, basketball, and soccer for the past 14 years. That ended a few years ago. But I think South Suburban has been an integral part of my life and my community, especially my kids growing up. And I think I want to push that forward. We need to push that forward, right? So it's very personal to me. I use the Parks and Recs districts probably about 320 days a year, between golf, between pickleball, between tennis, and I walk the trails almost every day, and I did that this morning, okay? So on the platform side, financial transparency and financial responsibility are super important to me, right? I want to be a change agent for South Suburban. I want to see things grow, and I want to see things mature. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Joe. And thank you, candidates. Now it's time for one form question from the league. What are your strongest qualifications for a position on the South Suburban Parks and Recreation Board of Directors? Again, you will have 1 minute with a 30-second warning, and we'll begin this time in the middle with Dan Murphy. Again, Dan, what are your strongest qualifications to be on this board?
Okay, I think everybody's passionate about recreation, right? So I think you have to say, that only gets you so far. I would say 20 years ago, I advocated for a bond in our own community in order to build a new pool, new parks, of which were fields. And what I learned a lot in that process was how to think, what's it take to build stuff? What's it cost? What's the process you have to go through with your community to get the community buy-in? Because if you don't get the community buy-in, you can't pass a bond. So I think you have to have some of that experience, and I bring that to the table. And then the piece, this is a $100 million company with a whole bunch of different business units on it. The fact that I've owned my own business for 25 years, I think gives me that financial background that you're gonna need, because it can't just be parks and trails. You're running a big business here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next, we'll hear from Rick Pilgrim. What are your strongest qualifications for a position on this board?
Thank you. I told you about my engineering career, and the thing that I learned is that you need to use a process to think through what are the issues, what are the alternatives, the criteria to make judgment, and then let's make some recommendations. So I'm very familiar with a thoughtful process that does include engagement as the very start with the public. As your director, it's important to me to listen and understand your interests. I have learned from that our new CEO needs to be a problem solver and innovative. I've also understood that there needs to be a balance between new investments and our ongoing responsibilities. For example, new investments to improve and enhance our multi-use trails like Highline Canal. I understand that there's a need for tennis facilities here, especially in the eastern part of the district, and there is not a competitive swimming pool between DU and the Air Force Academy. So thanks.
Thank you, Rick. Next, Jennifer, what are your strongest qualifications for being on the board?
When I was in my 20s, I went and got a pilot rating, which ultimately led working in general aviation. And in general aviation, I worked in operations and management. And I think I was attracted to that industry because it's very structured and it has a very strict adherence to policies and procedures for safety and whatnot. So I was really drawn to that industry. And while I was working in that industry, I found that one of my greatest strengths within that was listening to all the people I worked with and coming up with solutions to challenging problems, which led me to start my own company as a business consultant. And I think that's the part that I really enjoyed, was listening to people, coming up with creative solutions to problems. And so I hope that those abilities that I gained along the way, along with my experience and skills from solving these problems, will be an asset on the board.
Thank you, Jennifer. And next, Elizabeth Watson, what are your strongest qualifications for being on this board?
So I think there are two of my qualifications that really do have impact for my interest in this position. The first is I have been a member of the Arapahoe County Cultural Council, and in that position, we are responsible for reviewing grants for public taxpayer funds and allocating them to art and cultural programs. So that experience working with the council collaboratively and then assigning public tax dollars is very relevant to this special district. My second strength is that in 2023, I ran for the board of directors. I finished just 129 votes behind Ken Lucas, an incumbent, and since then I've been showing up for meetings. I'm very interested in the documents. I've been reviewing the budget. So I've become very familiar with the staff and ongoing projects and the culture that is here at South Suburban. And it's an amazing organization, and I'd be thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, Joe Wilson. What are your strongest qualifications
Thank you.
for
So-
being on this board?
Okay, thanks. Professionally, I'm a sales executive. I got home last night at midnight, so thanks for having me this morning. But what I do is I go out and I listen to people. I want to understand what their concerns are. And I was telling Sharon earlier, we have some neighbors, they have 8 kids, right? I actively talk to the community. I'm very involved in the community. I think listening, understanding to what our community need is going to be very, very important moving forward. Right? A few years ago, I tried to start a baseball league. I want to bring a sense of community. I think I'm particularly strong in bringing people together, understanding what they want, and delivering on that need. That's what I've had to do the past few years. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next, Keith Gardner. What are your strongest qualifications for being on this board?
Thank you. So I've been serving on the board since 2023, so that's a pretty good idea that the things that we're working on, I'm deeply involved in trying to find us a great executive director. I have years of service with Centennial City Council and the water districts, and a brief story is when I was with the Littleton Fire Protection District as the president, we went out to the voters and asked if we could merge with South Metro. And what we were able to do is increase fire services, but it's through a partnership because we had to work with Littleton, we had to work with Highlands Ranch to get everybody on the same page and get a vote to the people and allow us to merge. And now we've got the second biggest fire department in the state. But that ability to work with other people, I think I've shown over years and years that my personality type, my desire, my knowledge, I'm really willing to build partnerships, hear things from people, try different things, and work together. And that's critical because there's a lot of draws on South Suburban as a district. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Next, Steve Caverman. What are your strongest qualifications for being on this board?
Well, let me start with the fact that I have a master's degree in organizational management, and I have earned several professional certifications as well in different fields of endeavor. Since 2000, I have held leadership and executive positions in the tourism industry. That includes working as an international tour director, traveling with literally, over the years, thousands of people to destinations across North America, as a regional and state destination marketing executive, both with the state of Colorado and with some of our primary tourism regions here in Colorado, and as an interpretive tour guide. My board experience includes working as a board member with the Royal Gorge Chamber Alliance, Fremont County Tourism Council, where I was the board chairman for 5 years, the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors, EcoCycle Incorporated Board of Directors, and I was a council member for the city and county of Broomfield with appointments by the council for a number of other community councils and organizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next, Tyler Linneber. What are your strongest qualifications for being on this board?
So I already mentioned my biggest qualification is that I'm a CPA with accounting experience, being able to I don't know there it goes. So beyond accounting, I'm really committed to, he kind of took the show. I really like community, building community, and I've done a lot of service work, volunteer with my church, helping mentor middle school boys, helping set a good role model for them, and I also work as a pickleball and kickball referee for Volo Sports, which helps build community with adults in intramural leagues. And I like to try to bring that to the board to try to find ways to connect with the community in unique ways. Unlike most accountants, I do have a lot of social skills, and I like to intermingle and try to foster community and uplift the next generation of children. And I also, I've spaced out. I think that intercom messed me up. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Tyler. And lastly, Luke Lorenz. What are your strongest qualifications for a position on this board?
With a bachelor's degree in recreation administration and a master's degree in educational leadership, I would bring a unique blend of both hands-on parks and recreation experience and strategic leadership experience. As a high school principal, I oversee a large budget, I build strong relationships, I lead with transparency, and I collaborate with stakeholders, and I communicate with members of my community. Those are the same things I would bring to a board. I know how to listen to people, problem solve, and make decisions that benefit the broader community. I'm passionate about ensuring that all residents, regardless of age, ability, or background, have nearby access to quality parks and recreation programs.
Thank you.
I'm approachable, open-minded, and solutions-oriented. I'm not focused on any one agenda or region, but really the district as a whole. A vote for me is a vote for thoughtful leadership, meaningful community engagement, and strong, vibrant future for South Suburban. I intend to listen to your needs, your concerns, and your celebrations regarding parks and recreation in your neighborhood and community, and I'm out of time.
Thank you, Luke, and thank you all candidates. And now Carol's going to introduce the candidating forum.
Okay, so this is the fun part. Well, actually, the whole thing is the fun part. So this is a little bit, this will take you back to school. Also takes me back to my soccer coaching, okay? So if you, as an audience, could evenly split yourselves between the 3 American flags, just turn the chairs towards the table. Once you're all seated in 3 different groups, and we're going to bring the candidates to the table. You will remain seated. Candidates will rotate through, so you will see all of the candidates. So if you would now we'll take a minute, 2 minutes to move into 3 equal-sized groups. Thank you. Okay, so. Gentlemen,